Alright, guys, so this is going to be another comic review from another book sent to me by my good friend Chris, aka the Mount Vernon Kid. Chris, thank you so much for these books. And today we're going to be reviewing Power Rangers Universe. Power Rangers Universe is part of the Boom Studios Power Ranger Universe. It was a mini-series that was it was billed as the true origin of the Phantom Ranger, who the Phantom Ranger's origin has always been left up to a lot of speculation, and a lot of it is like hearsay, and other things are like ideas that were never really done. Like there were some ideas for the Phantom Ranger, in that he was supposed to be like Zordon's son. Was he something else? But they never really went on. They never went full in the show. Like they never went full on in the show. So this basically is supposed to give you like the full origin of the Phantom Ranger. So this story is kind of like not just a origin story for the secret origin of the Phantom Ranger. It's also treated as like an origin for all Power Rangers. Like this is supposed to be like a massive like story that is essentially just telling you the story of the Power Rangers. It is a very expansive story. The writer of this is Nicole Adelfinger, I believe that's how you pronounce their last name, with artwork illustrations by Simone Ragazzoni. These are really hard names to pronounce. Colored by Matea Icano. Letters by Ed Dukeshire, excuse me. Yeah. So this was kind of treated as like, let me just show you some interior right now. Let me just show you some interior work real quick. What's a good one right here? Because this is some really beautiful artwork, and I also want to bring it up in this story because it is kind of important. The artwork in here is very anime inspired. I'll show you a really good see. Yeah, it's very anime inspired. In fact, a lot of it doesn't remind me of Voltron, Legendary Defender. Like I think, like I've heard, like the name sounds familiar. Like maybe this team worked with Voltron, Legendary Defender, because this is very Voltron, very Avatar and Last Airbender inspired. So the story is that it's set thousands of years in the past, and essentially Dark Spectre is seeking to destroy the Morphing Grid. But in doing so, 5 teenagers have encountered the Phantom Ranger, or as he's known here, the Morphonaut, and together they tap into the power of the Morphing Grid and become the first Power Rangers to battle Dark Spectre. So I really love this book, first and foremost. I really like that this builds into like a lore. It really builds into like all these little great Easter eggs, and it's done beautifully because like how they try to use the power is kind of is pretty cool. Like they basically become like different Rangers from different eras, as you saw in that image. The characters are all very vibrant. They're all very like anime inspired. Like I said, it does spark a lot of that American anime style, like you saw in Voltron or Dragon Prince or Avatar: The Last Airbender. In fact, Hasbro's talked a lot about like expanding more with Power Ranger stuff. I would love this to be an animated movie. I would love this to be an animated series. In fact, I think that like a prequel Power Rangers show of these kids battling Dark Spectre is really cool. And also, what I like in here is that they treat Dark Spectre like a dark side level threat. Like he's treated like this massive overarching like you need to be afraid of him no matter what, because he won't just destroy the grid, he'll destroy the universe and everything. So yeah, I kind of like that this angle they're doing in the Boom Studios comics, where they're treating Dark Spectre as this big this big dark side level threat that we only got a little bit in Power Rangers in Space. So it is really cool that they're building like all these and that's the other thing I really like about these this universe is that got a little spot there, huh? A little spot on the camera. All right, I will try to clean that after this, but yeah. That's kind of the thing, is that you have to look at this in a very You know, and like that's what I've loved about the Boom Studios books. I'm sorry for going off topic, but yeah, the Boom Studio books have really kind of given a lot of agency to not just characters but also villains. Like they've really given a lot of villains a lot of spotlight too. I mean, they've made Rita recently made Rita independent of Zed, and actually made her a great threat. Same with Vile and Astronema and all these other villains. They're giving these great character stuff to the Power Rangers characters and the villains. I really do like that. I really think that's cool. The fight sequences are very well done. The camaraderie between all the characters is great, and in fact, the Power Rangers they become is actually from a Super Sentai that they never used. Let me show you real quick, because it is kind of the Rangers and the suits they use is kind of important in Ranger lore. So yeah, this was part of a Super Sentai that wasn't used. In fact, that's where the White Ranger suit came from, for those who don't know. They did kind of reference it in Super Samurai, I think, but only briefly. So it is kind of nice to see them finally canonized, because I really like the Ranger design. I wish they did use them in full form. It's a very beautiful story, but I do have one nitpick. For it being a story about the Phantom Ranger, it's not really about the Phantom Ranger. Like that's kind of, I feel like it's kind of false advertising, really, where they're billing this comic as it's the true origin story of the Phantom Ranger, and they do kind of go into things, but they don't go enough. Like, he's just more of a catalyst for these characters, and that kind of bothers me when the whole thing you've built up as the true origin of the Phantom Ranger, and he's more of a plot device than anything else. The only thing we do know is how he met, he just meets Zordon at the end, and how he got his white armor to a black armor, and that's really it. Like, that's really all they kind of explain, and what he was doing with the morphing grid. And they don't go into his name, they don't go into his backstory, they don't do a lot in here. They focus more on the kids, and Phantom Ranger is more like the Sixth Ranger, if anything else. Like, he's more treated like the Sixth Ranger in this outfit than really anything else in this story. So that's the one problem I have with this book, is that it's treated more as Phantom Ranger is more like, I understand like calling it now I get that calling it Power Rangers Universe, but really, when you're trying to build this as like an origin story for a character that we know little about and still have a lot of questions about, I feel like that's kind of a little false advertising. But having said that, I'm not disappointed as I am, because this is a very vibrant book. It's a very amazing book, and it ties in beautifully with the Power Ranger universe, the Boom Studio Power Ranger universe. It ties in beautifully with all of that. And like I said, I would really love to see this book done as an animated miniseries or a movie from Hasbro. I really like that. Like, this is Netflix written all over. Like, this is a Netflix movie right here, or wherever they put them on streaming now, because I don't think Power Rangers is on streaming anymore. So there you go, guys. That is my review of Power Rangers Universe. So, yeah, you guys tell me in the comments below. What did you guys think of it? And also, once again, I'd like to thank my good friend Chris. Thanks again, bro, for this book, and can't wait for the next shipment of the all Marvel, all DC books. I'll try to do a live stream of that one, because it's going to be like a big box, and also it'd be nice to do a live stream. You know, it's been a while since I've done a live stream. But anyway, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.